Hey, Chuck, did you check out that new Disney Plus series?
Moon Knight. Don't nobody worry about me.
Well,
I'm gonna get it right. Can't you gonna set me free?
I mean, it's called Moon Knight, but
I'm Moon Knight.
Hello and welcome to the Nerd Card. We're jumping back into the episodics with Disney Plus's new series, Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu.
The Fist of Khonshu.
As he's been called. You know, he's been called other things too.
The left fist? Fish? No, not a fish.
Left. Yes.
He's the left fist of Khonshu.
Yep.
And Moon Knight is a very interesting character, of course. And they're doing him a little bit differently in the MCU. And I got to tell you, what I really, really, really liked about the way they portrayed it was from the perspective of the mild-mannered Stephen Grant.
Yeah.
And it really, to me, it adds the perspective of what you might see as Bruce Banner. If you were to turn into the Hulk and then you lose so much time as yourself and then...
Except that Banner knows he's the Hulk.
It's the city, Sokovia. Did we save it?
Banner, listen.
What?
Sokovia Ultron, that was 2 years ago.
What are you saying?
Well,
What? I've been a Hulk for 2 years?
I'm afraid so.
Right. And that does make it way different.
Steven has no idea that he is Moon Knight.
That he's not even Steven.
Right. And
even Steven.
Even Stevens. That's a different show.
Yeah, that's a day.
No Moon Knight in that one. But yeah, it is a very interesting perspective the way they've done it because, you know, Phil, you commented when we've watched it a couple of times here that, you know, the battle is implied. There's some battle scenes.
Well, sure.
But you don't see Moon Knight in action till the very end of the episode.
And I thought that was really cool. What you're seeing is the reaction of Stephen Grant to what just happened.
What is happening?
It's chaos. And with the jump cuts that they use and the as he goes into it, that shaky camera and
yeah.
I mean, it's a really cool perspective of if you were Stephen Grant and you were turning into Moon Knight and you had Khonshu,
talking in your head and you don't know who it is. You just think you're crazy.
Go back to sleep, worm.
Hello?
You're not supposed to be here.
Yep, I completely agree.
Yeah, you just think you're nuts. That's a very accurate portrayal of what your life might be like. And I really thought it was a really cool way to tackle that subject.
He might actually be nuts. I mean, Mark Spector is another personality of the same guy.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 personalities within the body of the person who is Moon Knight. And, you know, in the comic books, it was because Khonshu made psychic contact with Mark Spector when he was a child. And since there are 4 phases of Khonshu, then there's also 4 different personalities. They think is their postulation is that fractured his brain into 4 personalities to cope with the psychic connection to Khonshu, who is the god of the moon, which also goes with the 4 phases of the moon as well. So it really is an interesting character. I read Moon Knight as a kid. I'll be honest, I've been brushing up on him recently before the series came out because it's been a long time since I read those comics.
Well, he's kind of an obscure character anyway.
He is, but he's got a cult following.
Oh, for sure.
Moon Knight's always been a pretty popular character. It's really cool to see him on the big screen. It felt different this series. But it's not different bad, but just different. It wasn't like the other series that we've seen have been characters that we're familiar with, right? It's been WandaVision. It's been the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's been Hawkeye. These are all people that we already know from the movies.
Right.
This character is the first Marvel Disney Plus show that it's someone that we haven't seen in any films.
Well, and not just that, but there's absolutely zero connection in the first episode to anything else in the MCU,
No,
which is really cool. It's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
We're meeting new characters. Of course, Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, Khonshu, whoever you want to call him, the Moon Knight is portrayed by Oscar Isaac, and he does a really good job. A little bit of Bruce Campbell-esque acting in there.
Yeah, and Khonshu is F. Murray Abraham is the voice of Khonshu.
And what a voice.
Who is the god, and then Moon Knight is the embodiment is the fist of Khonshu. That's his embodiment when Mark Spector becomes Moon Knight.
Sure.
Is the superhero. And as Phil said, as you said, it's different than anything we've seen from the MCU. At least on the Disney Plus shows. And Ethan Hawke is in it, who's a great actor.
Who's great.
And so far his character's very intriguing. He's an agent of a cult, or he's the leader of the cult. I'm not sure which
it would appear he's the leader at this point, but that opening scene made me cringe.
Oh, when he's putting the glass in his shoes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that hurt my feelings.
It really did. It made me like check my shoes and like, but he's absolutely guided by another one of these, kind of rogue gods.
Egyptian gods. Yeah.
Yeah. And
who's lost their avatar. Another way you can call Moon Knight is in Mark Spector is the avatar for Khonshu, because they can't get from their dimension into our dimension very easily, which makes me think we're going to see Doctor Strange.
Please, safe to have the universe together. I think we're beyond you calling me sir.
Okay, Stephen.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
Oh,
at
for
some
sure.
point in the show.
And there's a really strong reference to that where we only see Stephen Grant interact with Mark Spector through mirrors.
Yeah.
Stephen, I could save us. But I can't have you fighting me this time. You need to give me control. You understand?
So it's interesting there. I mean, maybe Mark Spector is in the mirror dimension and just can only be pulled in, through Stephen Grant.
The mirror dimension. You can't affect the real world in here.
Who's laughing now, asshole?
Yeah, or it's just the psychosis of four personalities fighting for control of the body. We're not sure.
It's a dissociative identity disorder. Dissociative identity disorder, which is something in the comics that the Moon Knight, of course, suffered from.
Mark Spector suffers from.
Mark Spector suffered from, and it's really cool. It seems to be that they're going to be tackling mental health in this series, but really we're dealing with magic and gods, and it really is kind of a Marvel thing.
Well, yeah, I mean the big three, wizards, aliens, and androids. So I'm going to go ahead and say this counts for aliens, at least with Khonshu.
Sure.
And probably wizards a little bit too. And we haven't seen an android yet, but
no, not in this show. Yeah.
The first episode, I mean, I liked it better the second time I watched it. It was kind of a slow burn.
Sure.
Really what's going on in this episode is kind of establishing that this guy has multiple personalities. At the end of the day, there's at least multiple people in control of the physical form that Mark Spector and Stephen take.
Right. Well, a couple of things I want to get to before we wrap it up. Number one is the multiple personalities, one of which being Khonshu. Khonshu kind of acts as, I hate to say it, but it keeps sounding like Venom.
I am happy to eat, Mrs. Chen.
No, you cannot eat, Mrs. Chen.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not actually one of the personalities. He is the psychic connection.
He's the guy in control of everything, right?
So but there are four distinct personalities that Khonshu can communicate with in that brain, the body of Mark Spector.
Sure.
We've seen two of them so far. There are two more they could introduce.
Yes.
And we'll see if they do. But yeah, it is a lot like Venom when Khonshu's talking to him. You said it with
The idiot's back.
No, the idiot's back.
You know, I will eat Mrs. Chen. I mean, that's what it sounds like. I mean, even some of his enunciations sound like Venom.
It's very, very similar. And, it gave us a chuckle while we were watching it. Because like I said, like Chuck said, I said during the episode, I will eat Mrs. Chen.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you watch this, the first thing is immediately the first time that Khonshu spoke to him internally, I'm like, oh, that's Venom.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Don't just stand there. Run!
It's exactly what I thought of.
It definitely very similar. And, well, very similar in premise as well. It's an alien symbiote that takes over, And
Venom, the Venom hegemony, or whatever you want to call their hive of Venom, is aware of all the different realities too. So there's that similarity there as well.
Absolutely. So that's a really cool thing. But the other thing I wanted to mention before we wrap it up is the town that Stephen Grant or Mark Spector or Moon Knight or whoever you want to call him at this point ends up in after he awakens is very similar to a town that we've seen in the comics.
Oh, yeah.
In the country of Latveria, which is, of course, a fictional country, where a villain that we know.
Yeah, he's got metal on his face.
Yeah, he's kind of set
got a
up
hood
there.
and a cape.
And we see a castle there, which might very well be Castle Von Doom.
He's got a foreboding last name.
Yeah, well, Doom. I mean,
Von Doom,
who
Victor
names their
Von
kid
Doom.
Doom?
Yeah.
I
mean, the Dooms name him Victor.
Well, apparently, yes.
The Von Dooms.
The Von Dooms. But, there's a very real possibility that we might see Dr. Doom at the end of this.
Which would be sweet, right? And it would make sense. I mean, they've announced the production of a Fantastic Four movie, and who's the Fantastic Four's primary villain is
it's
Dr.
Doom. Yeah.
Right? Him and Galactus. So, but Dr. Doom is like the day-to-day villain, and Galactus is every once in a while, hey, coming in, I'm going to try to eat the Earth again. Okay, great. Yeah, let's
right.
fight.
Well, Dr. Doom's like the Thanos level villain, but Galactus is the larger.
I'd say he's a little lower than Thanos.
A little bit, yeah.
He's a big bad, to be sure.
Absolutely. And here's hoping they treat him right. Here's hoping that that's even correct. Who knows?
We could be way off.
We could
done
be
it
way
before.
Off. Yeah, we have. And, but what I take away from this series is or the first episode of this series is that it's entertaining.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I want to see more. I can't wait to see what happens next. Yep. And, luckily we're going to. Next week, Wednesday, we're going to see the next episode, and you can join us here.
We'll talk about
it
too.
Plain and simple. Chuck, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, then that is it. I would like to remind you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, all that good stuff. We are out there. Remember to share us with all your nerd friends so they can join in the party as well. Please comment and like on the video. Join in the discussion.
It really helps us with YouTube. So
it really does. And with that, we will say,
what's on your nerd card?